So as you can see that the today's the next uh, the topic is the to develop strategies for using language in the classroom as well as written. You can see that the oral expression is a person's ability to express and so I can stop it sharing and I can also only use the uh, video lecture. Okay, so oral expression is a person's ability to express express one's thoughts and ideas meaningful using appropriate syntactic, semantic, pragmatic, and phonological language structure. Oral language is important because it provides a foundation for literacy development and it is essential to academic achievement in all content areas and it is critical for overall success in school. As we know, a great deal of school success depends upon a child's ability to demonstrate competency through oral communication, such as when answering questions in class or participating in group discussion. We can say that some suggestions to help, we can add some suggestions to help a child who may be expressing difficulty with oral presentation. And we can also say that the strategies to foster oral expression at home. So, what are there? There are various strategies through which we can foster we can foster um, we can various strategies for oral expression at home. So for that, basically we can say that the language development in classroom and as well as we can say that children learn language naturally during conversation. So language development does not simply mean learning hollow words. It means developing the meanings attached to all these words, and meaning comes to know in which context those words can be used appropriately. So we can also say that to learn a language, we have to know the strategies to promote oral expression. So oral expression strategies. What are the different strategies to foster oral expression at home and school? Allow ample opportunities to practice without penalty, because you can say that the teacher should give the students ample amount of opportunity so that they can practice without any hesitation. So the next is provide questions topics in advance to allow time for preparation. So when you are when they want to develop their speaking skill, you have to provide the topic also. And of course the teacher should provide the topic and they should give some time to do all this. So provide a safe opportunities for children to develop skills, and it increase the wait time to expecting response. For instance, count silently and incorporate oral recitation activities such as poetry reading, parties in etc. to help children develop their oral speaking skill. And the other thing is that provide a wide range of situations, such as the tell stories to them and tell them to create a different ending or different describing and comparing places and peoples and habits, expressing their opinions on something, showing agreement and disagreement as a result reacting to an event, expressing judgment, wishes, feelings, and expressing probability and degrees of certainty. As well as they can also elaborate on retailing and summarizing what has been said, and expressing permission, giving instructions, allowing plans and intentions. So there are various things which through which the wide range of situation can be created to the students to promote oral expression. And the other thing is allow children extra time to respond questions, because when you are not giving an extra time, you they do not have that opportunity to speak. They may took some time to express their views. Okay. So the teacher can have children arrange oral and written situations, oral situations. The children have their and the children how to make a flow chart that breaks down in procedure into component parts, and give children opportunities to allow new vocabulary in classroom discussions. As well as have children make up stories using wordless pictures books. Have a child speak into tape recorder and play it back. Provides props and encourages to children to up a play, create new versions of songs. Allow children to use puppets to communicate throughout stories. Provide opportunities to be in conversation that use extended discourse. Encourage children to speak in complete sentences. Do not interrupt or finish a sentence for a children. And for children who is frequent to respond and appear anxious to speak, coach them. So we can also see that uh, we can also see in this through this that we can also see through this that for children who have a difficulty organizing what they need. So for children who infrequently respond to appear anxious to speak, to coach the child prior to the activity, so he or she will be able to answer a question. Provide non-verbal provide non-verbal methods of response to increase the child's confidence. Show me how you do this one, or show me how you can do this. All this. Ask yes no questions, as well as provide choice. Did the character feel sad or frustrated, or provide sentence such as are you happy because you got the chocolate. All this. And ask question that requires simple one word responses. So ask questions about gradually increase the length and complete the complexity of the verbal response. So for children who have difficulty organizing what they need to say, give them time to prepare a response before calling on them, and provide outline, story map, wave, etc. to help with organization. Ask specific question that help the child focus as a response. Tell me one thing that the character will do, or how did the character take care of the pets, or how did the character develops. All these are if a child gets off track, give verbal cues to help him or her focus. You are telling about the characters. What are the characters names? Okay, so for children who have difficulty finding the word they want to say, uh, emphasize vocabulary, task, especially word relationship. Encourage describing activity. Suggest a word that the child might be trying to think of. If it is the correct word, give a clue about how you recall the word. You are trying to think of the word, right? So, what is the word? Can I guess, or can I suggest another word? All these. So, for children who have poor communication or pragmatic skills, pair children with mature peers for small group learning. So when you are pairing the child with a mature peer, he or she you will be able to understand the situation. He or she will be able to feel more connected, and arrange for a structured activity with the peers. Pre-correct or pre-teach appropriate behavior. If you don't know how to do the problem, raise your hand, wait quietly. So there are some various the techniques to teach pre or pre-correct their behavior. Have written or picture clues for behavior and classroom rules. Provide quick verbal feedback about communication. So parents and educators need to remember that language develops efficiently in the great majority of children. As adults, we should try not to focus on problems such as the inability to pronounce words such as adults do. Most children naturally outgrow such things, which are a teeny segment of the child's total repertoire of language. However, if a child appears not to hear what others say to him or her, if the family members and those closest to the child find him or her difficult to understand, or if the child is noticeably different in his or her communicative skills from those in the same age, adult may want to seek advice from the specialist in children's speech language and hearing. So the other thing you can we can also suggest, yeah, the use of concrete examples and demonstrations. Okay, so when we are using oral languages development in the school, so there are different strategies for language development. Every time we every time we talk with children about things meaningful to them, we are in a sense of modeling language and giving them information on how language works. But language learning opportunities can be increased and improved in quality if a teacher is aware of the strategies such as the use of specific descriptive words. Using descriptive words when talking with the students will give them more informative language input. It is better to say that the broom goes in the box beside the desk, then it goes over there, or the boy galloped after his dog, the boy went after his dog. When developing concepts, one might say this vehicle is a car instead of this is a car, or the sandpaper has a rough texture, or this is rough. So use of specific descriptive words. And the other thing is you labeling activities as they occur. Many classroom activities are gold mines for language development. As you can say, if the actions are labeled and the students have an opportunity to talk or write about them. For example, if students do a science project or a science project, they can be given the task to find out which items will sink and which will float. How could they find out? By experiencing, of course. Then what procedure or what steps will they do through the experiment? What will they observe during this experiment? What will they do find, and what are the results? By using the words experiment frequently while doing it, they will acquire a much fuller meaning from the term than if they took up the word in the dictionary. Moreover, labeling all these other activities of an experiment while doing them and reporting on them, they will learn such meanings such as observe, conclude, experiment, procedure, etc. And the other one is direct vocabulary instruction. There is a a teacher can expand the teacher can expand the incidental learning of words and word meaning by deciding in her lesson plans that words and other concepts could be meaningfully taught in the context of the lesson. Using known words and background experience to describe an unknown word. So when we are going to describe an unknown word, during the flow of conversation, a teacher can often quite quickly help children understand words and develop their language by paraphrasing or adding a few words to explain a new word. For example, to explain temperature, the teacher might say, when your temperature goes up, that means your body gets hot. Or she could introduce that word bluntly, saying that the knife is blunt, it doesn't cut well. This strategy is particularly useful if the child already has the concept and only needs a label for it. Sometimes merely emphasizing the way the word is used in sentence can help to understand it. For instance, students were reading in a Halloween story about the boy stealing some candy. The story goes on. Take the loot. The teacher said what loot meant, and the child says afraid. When the teacher repeated the sentence emphasizing take, the students caught on called out candy. The teacher only explained, yeah, the candy they stole. So the questioning is questioning. The other point is the questioning. Questions prompt children to talk and talk to talk and have children talk in a very important for language development to stimulate talk. Open-ended questions rather than yes no questions should be asked, and the students must be given time to answer. If what does a dentist do is immediately followed by does he fix teeth, a yes or no will be the likely answer. Therefore, it is better to give the students some time to think. So, if they do not have answer after a pause or open-ended clue, such as what kinds of things does the dentist do to your teeth, might get an answer like he fixes hole in my teeth. Questions can also be used to help children speak more clearly, precisely, and elaborately. And we also can say that the questioning continued until the children has solved the problem. Such questions not only models for students problem solving, but also teaches them how to use language for problem solving. And the next is praise and reward. Praising and rewarding children for using precise or colorful words, for using elegant sentence constructions, may motivate them to attend to words they hear and to use these words and structure explicitly. Rewarding students with points for discovering a new word can learn children into enthusiastic word learners. So yeah, for the praise and reward, we can say that the teacher should praise the students when he or she is giving a correct answer, and should reward the students for correcting for giving a correct answer. Use of specific descriptive words. Using specific more descriptive words when talking with the students will give them more informative language input. It is better to say that the broom goes in the box beside the desk than it goes over there. Or the boy galloped after his dog, instead of saying that the boy went after his dog. When developing concept, one might say this vehicle is a car instead of this is the car. So we can say that it's when user specific descriptive words is used. So one thing we can also say that responding, writing to speak and speaking to write. So the above activities and strategies we are doing when we are preparing any concept. The above activities and strategies can be pre-planned and arranged by the teacher. However, throughout the day there are many unplanned opportunities for language development. These opportunities came about when a teacher responds to a child's message. When extending, elaborating, rephrasing, recasting, a teacher can give the students a lot of information about vocabulary and grammar, and can model for them how to express their thoughts more clearly and more elaborately. In the following discussion about cooking utensils, the teacher took advantage of the discussion to elaborate upon the students' language and model standard English for them. So, when you were talking with the students, the teacher took their one or two word suggestion and elaborated them. For instance, he elaborated wooden spoon or wooden mixing spoon. So you can mix ingredients with them. And one of there are many things we still need to study in order to make language learning in the classroom more effectively. So when we are going to do when we want to make the language learning classroom or the aura, if you want want to make the language learning classroom a more effective one, the classroom consists of a large group of children is in which interaction with the teacher cannot be very frequent, can be become very difficult for for the teachers. The students do not always attend to the input given by the teacher. How can we encourage students to listen and attend to the language and used by the teacher and others, so that they will take ownership of that language? So for the oral development of any language, we for the oral development of language, we used to we used to use the concrete examples and demonstration, direct vocabulary interaction, using known words and background experience to describe an unknown word, as well as we can also do the questioning, which through which we can ask the students some questions, through which we can develop more knowledge, and of course we can praise and reward the students for using colorful words or for using elegant sentence construction, and we may motivate them to attain the words they hear and to use those words and structures, and we can level activities as they occur. So many classroom activities as so for the language development, if the actions are labeled in the students and the students have the opportunity to talk and write about them. So these are all the through this we can say that if a child do a science project on buoyancy, they can be given the task to find out which item will sink and which item will float. So by labeling activities as such, they occur writing to speak and speaking to write. So in the first session we discussed about the oral strategies to be adapted, and now we are going to outline the written strategies through which to develop the writing qualities, or you can written qualities of the student, writing qualities of the students. So the first strategy we can opt for is to write to speak and speaking to write. So one can one way to include speaking and writing. One way to include speaking and writing is the same lesson is to incorporate activities that require writing and preparation for carrying out or speaking task, or speaking and preparation for writing for carrying out a writing task. So we can say that we can say that writing to speak and speaking to write. When you are giving a certain task to the students, you are speaking a certain task and telling them to write the situation, and when you are giving to write them and tell them to speak this will be a great learning. It can be said that it's a different dimensions through which you can develop the learning writing strategies of the students. For examples, we can create a group of the students and to develop an original role play on advertisement to share in front of the class based on a certain scenario. So for example, and you can say that it's explain that each group must make a pitch about a new and fictional invention or product or their own design. So drafting the scripts in advance of sharing enables students to prepare their thoughts ahead of the time. So when the students are going to prepare certain thoughts or certain prepare share their feelings, or they're writing something about what they have seen, it will help them to develop their writing skills. By developing the idea, of course we have to develop the idea which we can incorporate through provide through making groups. Students have an opportunity for conversation practice at the end of the activity. Return to writing by having students write reviews explaining what they liked about each other's group presentation. So the other thing is we can draws on writing in preparation for speaking. Use for the students participate in a mock debate to press conference for the students of right position and papers, and they can also they can also share with divide the class into groups and include students representing each position, and direct students within each group to share their perspectives with a goal of reaching a compromise or finding common ground Alternative to duplicate or press conference, assigning a group of students to represent members of the city council while others representing different stakeholders groups. So this is these are the main things. And analyzing and sharing personal opinions. So one thing we can also say that sharing personal opinions means activities that call for sharing personal opinions, provide opportunities for speaking practice. So not only they have to speak the speaking practice, but also they can also write it on their own. So the teacher will help the students to make a to make a perfect perfect to develop the writing skill also. Okay, analyzing and creating written works in groups and peer to peer sharing throughout. The main process is the main thing. We can say that so the main thing we can say that through this process the teacher the students will learn to develop the oral and written skills in the classroom situation. So as we have already stated that that the teacher should to help the students to speak fluently and to write and to write and to how to what are the different that are the different strategies to develop the writing skill. So these are through this these are the different strategies through which the student can develop their writing skill, oral and written skills. Thank you.